Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm with my good friend Eric Lantris over at On Page AI. I am extremely psyched. I am extremely pumped up. As everybody knows who watches my channel, I don't just put anybody on. I have to really believe in your product. Guys, what Eric is going to show you today is 80% of SEO, meaning that he's going to show you something that's going to solve 80% of your problem. And I'm not just saying it because he solved 80% of mine. So with that, I just want to say hello to my new friend here, Big E. What's up, E?
Hi, Brett. Hi, Brett. That's a crazy intro. I really appreciate you having me on here. Yeah, I'm excited to share stuff, and I'm excited to be on your show. And hello to your audience. So yeah, let's get started.
That's some good stuff. So wait, do I hear myself? No. Okay, that's better. Okay,
no, you're good. You're good.
So I really believe in your product. I know I said it when I first came in, but like my agency uses your product, your program, and your program, along with another one, a traffic program, has changed my business.
Thank you.
Your program changed my business. And I couldn't do SEO to the level that I'm doing it without your program.
I appreciate that.
Well, listen, you created something for me that was fabulous. That's fabulous. And it's working. And I really think that anybody watching this, you're going to get total value out of this. And there's no coupon code, Bread11 or anything like that, or Mindsaw, Let's Go or anything. I've never done an affiliate before. This isn't for me to make any money. This is like, I found something that works. Like let's not go down any rabbit holes and try this and try that and try to, this is what works. This is what works. So before we get into that, Eric, how did you get started? Give me a little backstory, a little 5-minute backstory. Like, how did you get started in SEO? What made you get started in SEO?
I wanted income online. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted income online. This was a long time ago. And I started with affiliate marketing at the beginning. I got decent at it. And then I started a local SEO agency. So I had basically a local business doing SEO for other people. And then I kept on growing my affiliate business until I got hit by Google updates, like really, really badly by Google updates, where it was the Panda update in 2010, 2011.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So that crushed all my businesses. I had over 50 websites doing a very, very good income. I had a whole team, and I had to let everyone go. I went through a mini burnout, and I came back down just to be me. And then I was determined to solve what happened with Google. So I tried to solve I tried to figure out what happened with the updates. So I recover all my sites, and I went through a lot of pain. So if anyone has ever suffered a traffic drop or had anything happen to their website, I feel you on that, because I went through what I feel is kind of like the worst version of that, where you lose everything. And then I was determined to rebuild, and I spent a lot of time, years, figuring out or working at the on the Google algorithm, and I finally did recover my sites. I figured out what changed. I figured out how to recover my sites, and then I went when I started sharing it with people, because a lot of other people were affected as well, and I got invited to speak at different places. So I spoke at Traffic Research. I spoke at SEO Rockstar. I spoke at Traffic and Conversions in California. I've spoken at a whole bunch of places teaching SEO. And then I just kept on teaching SEO, and I've been teaching and researching SEO for the past decade. And about 3 years ago, kind of coming up to today, 3 years ago, I was using a whole bunch of tools for SEO, but I was not happy with the results they were providing, or the recommendations they were providing. I thought there were things missing. I thought I could do things better. So based on everything that I knew, I started creating my own tool to be able to do better SEO in a better way, I believe. So that's kind of where we're at today.
Yeah. So you used a couple of terms earlier when you first started explaining that people may not be familiar with.
Okay, yeah.
So the first one is the Panda update.
Oh,
what was that all about? Yeah, what was that all about?
Well, back in the day, Google used to name their updates, their big updates, by by naming people or animals or whatever. Like there was a hummingbird update, there was a panda update, and panda was actually named after a Google engineer. And it's just a Google update. But whenever
But
Google,
what did it do? What did it do? Or what was the update? What was the update
The update, I believe, was the first time Google was actually checking for site quality. So essentially, previous to that, you could have a horrible page, a horrible website. People didn't like the website at all. Come in, leave right away. It could be complete spam, and Google didn't care as long as the other signals were there. And this was the beginning where Google was actually making sure that the users were having a good experience on your website. So
I heard this fella Josh Brzezinski put it the best, and what he said was that panda eats bamboo, meaning that right. So it eats all the junk. It eats all the junk, and if your website is full of junk, if your website has blog pages that aren't written correctly, if they're out of context, if they're on another subject, if they're just Google's going to destroy your site. They're just going to de-rank your site. So, everybody that's using, for example, writing it themselves, having a college kid write the content on your website, or you're a plumber and since plumbing the boat, but you're not a writer.
Yeah.
So you wind up writing stuff in incomplete sentences, or you're writing stuff the way I speak, starting a sentence, stop it, going again. Like people write like that, and Google will penalize your site for that. So Google came up with the Panda update just for that. And we may have some people who do affiliate marketing, but then there's some people that don't do affiliate marketing, and they don't really know what that is. You want to kind of just sum that up in a couple of words?
For sure, of course. One thing I want to add to your great points about, I actually like the whole panda eats bamboo. That's such a good.
I didn't make it up.
But one of the other things that people used to do back in the day is they used to be site bombs or whatever, and it used to be an explosion of pages where they would have a website with it was a small website, but the website would have 100,000 pages just to make it seem big in the eyes of Google. And that still applies today, where if any of your audience has a site and has a whole bunch of tag pages, a whole bunch of dates, whole bunch of duplicate content, as we call it, or thin content, that could affect them. So one of the things that I always recommend whenever you're dealing with a site is you want to trim it up so it's as so everything that you find on your website is going to be high quality.
Right.
So it just exactly. And for the affiliate, we just kind of ties down. Affiliate is when you create a website and you recommend other products, and then you get a commission whenever people buy based on your recommendation.
Yeah, so, I just bought the Ninja Foodie.
Oh, nice. We
bought that
too. Yeah, actually.
Did you? Yeah, I just bought that, and I was like, that would be, it's such a great product. It's like, man, if I made a little video and put a link to my Amazon, I could probably earn some commission on that, create another channel or create a blog page talking about all the points and how easy it is to use, because it really is great. You throw a piece of steak in there, you go take a shower, you come out in 8 minutes, it's done, and it's done perfectly, So basically that's what you do, is that you recommend products, and then people could buy it, and then you get a small percentage back from Amazon.
Well, when I was starting, that was the dream. That was literally the dream, where you just described it, where who wouldn't want to just throw up a page, review something, and then you get money, right? Like people just visit and you're like, oh, I'm just getting money day in, day out. Turns out there's a bit more to it than that. Right. But that was the original dream. Yeah.
Your product, your program today will help with people who do affiliate marketing.
It helps with anyone. Yes, it'll help with people that want to do affiliate marketing. But it helps anyone that has a website that needs to rank online.
Right. I use it for local SEO. So
exactly.
I use it to rank in the Google 3-pack and to rank my local plumbers and lawyers and electricians locally. However, you can use it for affiliate marketing too. So there may be people who are thinking about starting an affiliate site, and they need to write descriptions, or they need to write content. This tool will help you do that.
Yeah, I actually have even different cases that are just, you create something and then people find different uses of it. And one really interesting use, this is they're ranking Amazon pages with it on Google. And one of the guys, he has like adult coloring books he's selling, and he's huge money maker, which I had no idea. And he's like, Eric, I'm using this and I need to optimize it to rank better on Google. So he's ranking his Amazon page, not only his website, but also his Amazon page. Now his Amazon page is higher. He's making more Amazon sales. And I'm like, I never thought of that as well. Like I did it. I was like, okay, it's good for e-commerce. It's good for affiliates, good for local. But then they're starting to do all these other things, like even press releases you could optimize to rank better.
That's beautiful. So going back to what I said earlier in the interview when we first started is what Eric's going to show us today is 80% of SEO. It's 80%. So I really think that it'd be a good idea if you really listen to what Eric said. He's going to take you through the program and show you why it's so important. All right. So with that, Eric, if you want to get started, kind of show us around a little bit. I'll ask some questions, make like I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'll share my screen, and hopefully you can see my screen, and I'm going to walk you through what I use every day. And hopefully if you have any questions or anything, just stop me along the way. Certainly. And I'm going to show you on Page.ai. So that's the program. It's on Page.ai. And I already have a project loaded, but I'll clear it. And I'll show you from scratch how you start off. I made it to be as simple as possible. I'm always thinking iPhone, like if you have any SEO experience, you could just jump in and you just start using it. And essentially what it does is it'll give you recommendations on what you need, on how to optimize your page on Google. So the way it works, I'll show people an example, is you type in whatever word you want to rank for. So if I do SEO Toronto as an example of the word I would want to rank on Google, you can just put that in, click submit, and it'll give you a list of words that you want to appear on your page in order to rank better.
And that would be necessarily even words that I wouldn't even think of. So for example, I would think of words like Google, search engine optimization, SEO. But when you click submit, you're going to see a bunch of words that you would have never thought of, but completely make sense.
Yeah, let me show you an example. And I'll take it to the next, I'll even take it to the next level. And most people already have a website. So a lot of times what you're trying to do is you're trying to optimize whatever website you already have, and you want to take it to the next level. So if I type in SEO Toronto, I'm going to get an example of someone who's already ranking, and then we're going to use them as a compare.
Okay.
So
while you're doing that, I just want people at home to know, that's my man. That's my man, Chris. Yeah. I love that guy, man.
That's amazing. I saw his site recently. He has a lot of, he's an artist, I believe, right?
Yeah. I interviewed him last year, man. Great guy, man.
Awesome.
Great guy. Amazing. But I just want you guys to know, everybody here watching, is that this program isn't only for people who do SEO. So if you're a local plumber, lawyer, electrician, so on and so forth, whatever you do, you could actually buy this program and it will help you rank better. You don't have to be an SEO. This program is not only for agencies like SEO agencies. We happen to be using this as an example. And the other thing that I want everybody I just want to reinforce this. I'm not getting an affiliate link. I'm not getting anything for this. So if you buy it, I don't get anything. I don't get anything for it. I'm just trying to turn you on to something that works. Right?
Yeah.
That's it.
I appreciate it. So here you go. Essentially what I did is I put in his term, or the term we want to rank for, SEO Toronto. We put in a compare page. So this would be your website or whatever website you want to rank, or whatever page you want to rank. And then it'll give you a score, how relevant you are. I'll explain that in a second. And some word recommendations, and even some other cool things such as the category, the Google category that you want to be in, and so forth. And the entire idea of this software is that we're using Google's AI. So Google made public their artificial intelligence and the way they process text. It's called NLP. I don't want to go too complicated here, but essentially Google made available the way they process text so we could process documents. So we're using Google's own technology to examine web pages. And that gives us the best impression or best idea of what Google is really thinking about those pages. So
Eric, I don't mean to interrupt you. Would you happen to quickly, and were you able to quickly be able to pull up the on Google's page, their categories page?
Yeah, of course.
To show people, to show people what we mean. So here's what I'm saying is, you may be a plumber, right? However, Google can categorize you as plumber or plumbing services, meaning that the content that you have, there it is, meaning that the content that you have on your website may be viewed as plumbing services. However, your industry is plumber and you're trying to rank for plumber, but all the keywords on your page are listed as plumbing services. And you wouldn't know that without this program. So Google categorizes your website based on these categories that Eric's showing you right now. And there's no way to find out how your website is being viewed by Google in what category without using this program.
Yeah. So essentially, yeah, I'm going to dive into that in just a second. Thank you for sharing that.
I wanted to sound smart.
Well, no, it's good. Essentially what we have here is we have what I call the relevance score. And relevance score is how relevant you are to this term. And Google's objective is to show the best page. Google's objective is always to show the best result to the user and find the most relevant page for that query. Now, sometimes it's affected by backlinks a bit. Of course, that, there's a whole bunch of ranking factors. However, how relevant you are to the query is going to be one of the major ones. And here we could see how it's ordered, why number one is more relevant, number two is a bit more relevant, and so forth. And what you would want is you want your relevance score, kind of like the bar over here, which the blue one represents yours, whatever you put in here. You want this to be higher than the highest one that's listed. And in order to do that, we actually give you word recommendations here. So this is us going through the top results on Google and figuring out what ranks and what doesn't rank. So we go take a look at all the top results and we say, okay, well, in all the top results, we always have the word business. We always have the word SEO. We always have the word search engine optimization. People are mentioning Toronto. All of these make sense. They're very obvious. However, sometimes what people end up doing is they end up forgetting a lot of the key terms that they should be mentioning. So when they add only a few of these words, sometimes it makes a big difference. So if you're trying to rank for plumber, but you're not talking about pipes, and pipes just happens to be one of those terms that Google's looking for to rank a plumber, and you're like, oh, I forgot to mention that on my page. You add that term, and then a week later, you're doing much better just because you added that key relevant term that changed and makes you more relevant for that query. So here, what I usually recommend is people don't need to add all of these words. I just say, look, add the first 4 rows of words and you'll be good usually. So for instance, for SEO Toronto, they're doing very well. Already they have a whole bunch of terms. One of the things that they're not necessarily mentioning is social media marketing. And it turns out that Google believes that SEO is related to social media marketing as well. A lot of agencies just happen to offer that as well. So that might be a term that they add on the page. And the next term, which I kind of caught me off guard a bit, is growth. So here, that's just an example with one term. And you can see if you want to dig in and you really want to optimize, there's a whole bunch of other terms that they could add that might help them increase their relevance. Now, this is just the terms you could add. This is kind of like a fraction of what you could do. But the other thing, I'm going to scroll down. Actually, let me make this smaller. Is what we do is we also show page classification here. So this is what you were talking about, the categories.
Right.
So what we could see is that the categories that Google is returning. So we basically analyze, and these are all the Google categories that we showed on the other page. And if you were a plumber, this most likely would all be plumbing related things. But here, right, because we're looking for SEO and an SEO agency, they all fall into business and industrial and business services. So that's the category. And I could even go back and I could see, where was it? So if I go here, it's going to be, I'm going to search it for business. Yeah, I don't know. Business. Whoa, there's a whole bunch of business and industrial. There you go. So there's a whole category of business and industrial stuff. And this is what Google's returning. So essentially, the number 1 result is in this category. The number 2 result is in this category. Number 3, number 4, number 5, which means that and then this is your page. So that means that if you are not in the right category, then everyone else, it indicates a big problem. And that's probably one of the reasons why you wouldn't rank as well, is because you're not aligned with what Google is looking for. Now, I want to make it clear that being in a category is not necessarily a ranking factor. However, it's a really good indicator that you're doing a good job and you're headed in the right direction. So I'm not saying that Google says, oh, you're in the wrong category, you're not going to rank. It's not at all what I'm saying, but I'm saying it's a very good compass or a very good indicator that you're headed in the right direction, or your page reflects what Google's kind of looking for. And then the crazy thing is we've done a lot of work on this. And if you're not in the right category, we actually give you the specific words that you could add to get into that category. So one of the words that is most frequently used in business services is the word customers. So when Google finds the word customers on your page, it says, okay, well, if it's customers, then it's probably related to business services. And oddly enough, this page doesn't have the word customers. So the word customers could actually be something that they could add to the page, and that might even help them just that extra little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say Chris has an excellent page. It's very well optimized. He's ranking really well. But even then, even when we're really optimized, I do SEO every day, and I always find ways to kind of do that one last % and get it just a bit better. And then sometimes that'll push you from number 2 to number 1. And then that's how you kind of win it. You know, it's all a game to me.
That's right.
And I want to get every single advantage I could get. So is it clear so far of like how I kind of go when I'm optimizing on a page level and then also category level?
To me it is, but you know, we speak this language. So to somebody who doesn't speak this language, right? You had content written on your website, meaning the words on your website were written by somebody, either yourself or a writer, either on Fiverr or iWriter or wherever you got the writer from. And these people wrote a beautiful sounding article based on the page that you're trying to rank. However, if you don't have the keywords on that page, Google's not going to rank you as high as your competitors.
Yeah.
And you get those keywords are gotten from your competitors, right? That's how we know how to, right? That's how we know how to, right? Okay.
Exactly. And one of the, actually, just the way you kind of improve it and add it is you just open up your website and you just add the word in the copy. So if you're using WordPress or any page, actually, it doesn't even have to be a website. It could be any page that you're trying to optimize. Right. Even if
YouTube videos?
YouTube videos in the YouTube description.
Right.
You add it in the YouTube, like you could literally, anything that's online and that is ranking, you could optimize with it. And what you add is you just add the word. Usually what happens though is Google needs to recrawl it. So once you add the word, Google needs to find it again. And then once it finds it again, it needs to process it again. So there's more. So you need to give Google time once you give it the word. But then once it does, it says, okay, well, this page used to not be so relevant. And now we think it's a much better page. It's much more targeted to this query. And when people are using tools like Ahrefs or whatnot, or even Google ranking, however you're tracking your rankings, they see the amount of keywords that they rank for kind of spike up. So that's a very good sign that you're doing a good job.
So Eric, I don't mean to interrupt you. So if you, one of the things that's helped me in indexing, meaning that you want Google to pick up your newest page. So if you made a change to your page and you Google it, you don't want to see the old content, you want to see the new content, so Google picks it up, right? Is to create your page. So we're going to use abcplumbing.com/pipes. You made a change to that page. What you do is you take that link and you put it into the description of a YouTube video.
That actually works because Google loves its own properties.
Right. So it'll index a lot faster. So anybody watching this video, if you can't get pages indexed, well, there are two problems. One, that your content is irrelevant. So Google's not going to index, you know, if you're talking about red shoes and then, you know, it's all about electrical, you know, the title's red shoes, but everything's all electrical. you're not going to get that page indexed. However, if you have relevant content for that subject, and it may take a little while for Google to index your page, go put it on a YouTube video in the description. Go put a link inside the description.
That's a great suggestions, and I definitely know that works.
Right.
We actually did a segment recently on indexing just last week. What I want to keep it simple.
Yeah.
But your suggestion is one of those ones that works very well. Right. We used to do that with Google Documents that we're used to share, but now YouTube videos work even better. One of the alternatives, if you have Google Search Console, if you have a website, a lot of times people have Google Search Console. You could go inspect your URLs. So let me go valid. I could let me just do clutch kills. And then what you could do is you could just plug it into the Search Console, click request indexing, and then it'll do something similar to what you had.
Yes, correct.
Let's go back to on page.
Go ahead. That's the best.
All right. So, okay, finally, the last thing, and this is just to make things really easy, is one of the things that helps rankings as well is links, as you just mentioned. You tell Google with a link from a YouTube video or within a YouTube video description to go check out the web page, and it'll notice it. But the other thing is links within the same website. So internal links, so linking from one page to another. And here we give you recommendations of the best pages to get a link from your own website.
And that's so big, man. That's so big, because backlinking, getting backlinks from other websites is nearly impossible. And however, putting links on your own website and strengthening your own website is super simple, and it helps a lot.
And it's easy to do. It's the quickest, easiest thing to do. But even I forget a lot of the times to do it. Like I'll put up a page. It takes me so much time and energy to put up that page. And once I put it up, I just hit publish, and I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just let it be. And then it's only when I rerun this and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I should have put another internal link within another article to kind of support that page. Right. And that's actually one of my best tips to people that have pages that won't rank, or if a page is stuck. Whenever a page is stuck and it won't rank, the best thing you could do is create supporting pages and give it internal links. Right. So let me just show you, or show your audience what I'm talking about. Is if, let's say, I'm right here, if you have a page that's stuck here, then what you do is you create supporting page one, supporting page number one, and then you link to that supporting page one, and you create supporting page two. And there you go. Hopefully I'm not going to be too complicated. It won't be too complicated here, but here, and you point to the page that's stuck. You point this to the page that's stuck, and then you point supporting page number two to the page that's stuck, and you give these internal links, and then that will help unstuck this page. It's like something's stuck in the drain, and you're just pushing on it or so. So I'm going to say it a different way, right? So you have abcplumbing.com/pipes, and you can't get that written. You can't get that ranked. It's not moving from the rank. It's not moving. It's or the index. So you create article pages. So abcplumbing.com/rustypipes. Yeah. And in the article, you link to the pipes page. Exactly. And even taking it to the next level, then people build links to the supporting page one, and then they build links to the supporting page two. Right. And those links, the power from those links funnels through and then helps ultimately this page rank.
Right.
So what happens, I don't want to get too advanced, but in the Google algorithms, there's kind of limits. Sometimes you send a whole bunch of links. Let's say this page has 1,000 links already. Well, 1,001 links probably won't help it, right? It already has 1,000 links, and it's kind of maxed out in that perspective. So the way to kind of get it going once again is to start sending links here that then funnel through to this ultimate page. So it's sometimes sometimes you need to do it. So it might be a bit more advanced. If you're just starting out, then just don't focus too much on this. But if you have a page that's stuck, and I routinely see pages that are stuck, this is the easiest and most straightforward way to kind of get them unstuck.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Cool. There's more if you want.
Let's go.
All right, cool. So we mentioned 80%, and I appreciate that. And I think what we covered is maybe 40% or 50% of what you have. But let's go over kind of like the little other bit, the 30%. Essentially, usually that's going to be usually building links. So you to rank on Google, the easiest equation is you get some really good content, you get some really good links, and that's it. Like that's pretty much, that's most of it that combine. Of course, you get user experience, you get a whole bunch of, there are other things, but if you have good content, you have good links, you're usually going to do quite fine. Now, what Google recommends and what works the best is we need relevant links. So if you're a plumber, you want to get links from plumbing websites. If you're a website or as much as possible, or sometimes if you're a plumber in Toronto and you could get links from Toronto, right? So
niche and geo.
Exactly. So you want the links to be related as much as possible. So if you're trying to rank in like an SEO website and it's classified in business services, then you want to get links from pages and websites that are in the business services. It just makes sense. So the easiest thing to kind of like visualize it, if you want, is you just, people get it. I don't need to kind of draw it out, but you want to get things that are in the same category as you. So here I'm going to take this category and I'm going to show you an example of how I kind of go about it. So what we developed here is a few tools. So if you, my God, we have so many other tools, but I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible.
Sure.
What we have is going to be predictive guest post. So this is, you could put any text here, and before you post it, it'll tell you the category of that text. So if I type in, let me just find some SEO related text. Let me just go SEO Toronto again. And actually, let's take Chris's stuff just as an example. And we're going to go and take this text right here. So I'm going to copy paste all this text. Imagine a writer had written this text for you and he gives you a Word document. And he gives you the Word document. Let me just take this image out. Okay. So he gives you this Word document of text and you're wondering, okay, is this text good? Is it going to get me in the right category? Do I want to use this text? So you put it in predictive guest post, and before you send it off to Google for review, you know right away. So you click submit at the bottom, and then it's going to take a few seconds and it's going to classify this text. So here it says, look, this text will actually land in business and industrial and business services. So I'm going to make it a bit bigger so people can see, but this is good. So this is a good text. So this is how you could kind of like figure out in advance if you're doing a good job, if you're heading in the right direction. And what I typically do is I pass every single time I get a writer or anyone that gives me text, I pass it through here. Right. And every time I'm thinking of creating a link or I'm trying to do what they call a guest post, I'm always passing it in here to make sure I land in the right category, especially if you're doing a press release or if you're doing a guest post, because once it's out, you can't control it. Like once I send it away to let's say a press release, or I send it to on someone else's website, it's gone. So if it's not right, then I all that effort.
Well, not only that, not only did you waste your money, but you could also have hurt your rankings.
Yeah. If what I typically will say is this is regarding link building, is Google expects links to not always be on category, right? So it's natural. And one of the things that when I first started showing people this is like, people are like, oh my God, like I have a few links that are not in the right category. I'm like, it's fine.
That's okay.
It's natural. And it's not one single link, but it's the ratio. So whenever there's a big Google update, if 60 or 70% of your links are not good, then Google says, well, this seems a little unnatural. Why are all these links not good? So having more related links actually keeps you safer, in my opinion.
Well, I'm gonna say something. So there are people that are against buying links from Fiverr. Totally against it. However, I say, if you could get links in your category, get them. Right. If you could get them in business services / right, in that exact category.
Well, it's not the medium itself. It's rather
Right.
what you're getting at the end. If,
Right.
let's say, the editor-in-chief for, I don't know, Forbes, or for, let's say the Guardian is on Fiverr, and someone says, hey, I could feature you at the front, on the front page of the Guardian. It doesn't matter where it's coming from, as long as you get something that's good, that's related to you. That's all we care about at the end. Right. So the way we have a whole bunch of local agencies, and this might get slightly more advanced, but we have a lot of local agencies. And if there's any local agencies listening to you right now, they rank their clients using this specific method. So what they do is they stop looking at the metrics like DR, DA, and so forth, and they're mainly, or almost 100% focused on relevance. So they're trying to get the most relevant links possible. And for that, we actually created what's called predictive link building. So this will be the next part of the equation, where they have what they call guest post lists or link lists. So let me show you an example of what a link list is. I have one right here, and you could find these. The same thing happens on, let's say, Fiverr and all these other places where people have access to a whole bunch of different websites. So let's say they say, okay, well, I could post you here, or, you know, pick your website and I'll post it. So what you do is you need to make sure that the website lines up with your category. Right. So what I will typically do is I'll get a whole list of links here, and I can make this a bit bigger. And essentially they give you like the name of the website, they give you a score, they give you their category, but I don't trust any of this. They give you a price and so forth. So what I typically do is I will copy paste. I take a whole, the whole bunch of lists, and then I plug all these domains, all these places I could potentially get a link from, and I put them in what's called predictive link building. So I paste it in here, and then I click submit, and then I scan all of these. So depending on how many you put, it'll take a bit more time. So I'm just gonna load a list that I recently scanned. Right. It'll be faster. So here's a list that I just scanned of a whole bunch of domains. How many domains did we scan? I scanned, scrolling down, I scanned 48 domains. So what it does is I essentially copy pasted a whole list of websites. And this actually comes from my link list. Like I could get links from all of these websites. Right. And then what you need, then you're just going shopping. So at this point, I know I wanted a link in business and industrial, right? So I take this category, and I just look for it here. So I could type in business and industrial, and it's going to highlight all the good domains that I might want to get a link from. And
let me stop you right there. So now I need to get links, right, to help the rankings of my website. So I see a seller either on Fiverr or one of these other websites. Hey, only $195 for this DA 95 link, and it's only $195. And here's this other one for $32. And I'm like, well, the one for $195 must be much better, so I'm going to buy that one. But meanwhile, it's not in my category.
Exactly.
I would have been better off with the one for $32.
Well, that's why a lot of people are overspending on links, not getting results. And what we try to do is we try to align the category of the website and the category of the page. So as I just showed before, I try to align the predictive guest post. It's the post that I put is in the right category, and it's on a website that's in the right category. So here, if I look, one of the best websites right away, what I wouldn't have thought is this one, MBAK Null.
Oh, it's the greatest website in the world.
Yeah, I this is probably not an expensive link.
Right.
But everything is in the business and industrial. This is hyper relevant to my topic. So this would be a link that would align very well. Here as well, marketing mind as well. Here's business and industrial. And I could quickly scroll through and then go and say, okay, here's more stuff that business and industrial that I want. And here, this aligns really well. Entrepreneur handbook, obviously, right? But what's crazy is sometimes it doesn't, to humans, or at least when I'm thinking about the domain names, it doesn't seem obvious, but what we're using essentially is we're using Google's categorization engine. So Google's telling us that, okay, well, this is aligning up with that content. So that's why I think that people that use this, and when I use this, we get a serious advantage over everyone else that might be spending a whole bunch of money on links that aren't doing anything. Here we're getting hyper relevant links, and most of the time, because that's the crazy thing, because all these link sellers, they're still working on things like DA and a DR and all that. They don't they'll charge so much money because it has a high DA, but in reality, I'm spending like $40, $60, or $50 on these links that are doing much more for me, and they're giving me much better rankings because I'm getting them hyper related.
I can't tell you how important that is. Look, guys, anybody that's watching this, I really hope that you get the gist of what Eric is saying here. In short, if you're doing your own work on your website, or if you're an SEO agency, like I said, I don't have an affiliate link. I don't get anything for this. I would say buy this product because I use it. I really mean it. Buy this program because I use it. So either buy it yourself and do it, or hire somebody who uses it.
Well, that's
hire somebody that uses it.
I
like myself.
That. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
hire Brett.
You know, but hire me or hire somebody else. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of good SEOs. You don't have to hire me, but you know, use it or hire somebody who uses it.
But it's great because what I found with this, because we have a whole bunch of agencies that use OnPage, and we also have a whole bunch of people with actual websites that are using it to make their website better, rank better. And what I find is after a while, if they're using the link tools, the link profile becomes more relevant and more relevant and more relevant. And I strongly believe that keeps you safer because Google is known to go after mismatched links. If you have a plumbing website and you have a whole bunch of links from casinos, Google looks at that and says, oh, there's a mismatch here. And likewise, if you have a casino, then you want to get casino links. That's actually, then it could help you. Like those links are the ones that you want to get. So it's all about making sure that things line up. And
Eric, if you'd have spoke to me 6 months ago about this, I would have been like, you know, just give me the higher domain authority and, you know, but this just makes so much sense. I used to think that. And I've saved so much money on links. And here's something that I do also is that I create Web 2.0. So for example, if you're a plumber or an electrician, I have my own like PBNs and backlinks and sites that I create, and some of them are Tumblrs, right? So I'll make sure that the content is relevant for the category. Right. Well, and I'm able to do that with this tool.
Well, was it one of my friends, Brian Parnell, he actually went back, and I still have the PBNs. I've shied away from using them a bit, but I still have a whole bunch, and he has a whole bunch, but he hadn't updated his in a very long time. So he went back and he essentially ran his PBNs with the OnPage tool. He changed the content. He started optimizing his PBNs for the content. And then he showed me a screenshot of his rankings increasing like a week or two later. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. I'm glad that works too, because essentially it's all about lining up the source. So you always have the source page, and you have it pointing to a target page. Target page is whatever you want to rank. So whatever you want to rank is here. And a lot of times it's whatever the source is saying that will impact the target. I mean, it's obvious when you think about it, but when we're trying to rank, sometimes you don't even need a new link. You just need to make all your existing links better. So that's kind of one of the things where you just go back.
And to go a bit off subject is your program uses the Google API, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's important too.
So that's, I mean, it is, that's actually one of the differences, because there are other optimization programs out there. And I think we're one of the only ones or few that use actually Google's API. And the reason I believe this is happening, this is all speculation here. I don't want to talk about anyone else or anything like that.
No, there's a lot of good programs, a lot of really good programs out there. This one just connects with me the most. It's easy to use, and I love it.
The reason we use it is I want to become, my entire mantra is to mimic Google as closely as possible. So
of course.
If I want to get Google's interpretation, so that's why we actually crawl the web like Google. We have special processes where we isolate the main content. And what we do is everything we're geared, we want to see how Google sees the page. And in my studies, in my case studies, I actually tested this. It actually provided better results than with other optimization. And the only downside is that Google charges us.
Charges you. Yeah, I was going to say that. Right,
so
right.
It becomes expensive for us to run the tool, but then we pass on all the benefits to all our members and all the people that join and all the people that are inside. We're giving you the results. So that's why, in terms of base cost, we're paying a lot just to be able to access those results, just to be able to provide it. We have very high base cost, but I think it's worth it. I mean, I built this for myself originally because I wanted to rank as best as possible. So that's why there's some other people that or tools or so that don't want to incur the cost, the base cost.
Of course not. You want to keep the full $150 a month. I mean,
exactly.
They want to pay Google 95 out of the 150 that you're making.
Exactly.
But you know what? You made the best tool.
So that's
in my opinion, you made the best tool, especially for me, for what I use it for local SEO. It's the best tool.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
If it sucked, I wouldn't have you on. Honestly, I really wouldn't. I wouldn't have you on. I don't do that to my audience. You know, my mission statement is the truth in SEO. It's the truth as to what I believe is the truth. You know, there's nothing worse than I've been doing SEO. Well, I've been in the business for over 25 years. And I've been doing SEO probably about 12 or 13 years.
Yeah, no, OG.
Yeah, I'm an OG. Yeah. Well, yeah. And what was I saying before I was complimenting myself? So, so I've been down a lot of rabbit holes. Now there's different ways to do SEO, and I don't put down anybody, for example, who do Google stacks, right?
Yeah.
You know, you get all the Google properties, you link to them, and you do Google stack, and I'm sure you could rank using a method using Google stacks. For me, it didn't work for me. How's this? I did it wrong. I was in Mr. Brown's class in high school. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Let's be real. I was in Mr. Brown's class, right? So we're 12 people in the class. And while everybody, when the bell rang and everybody else went to different classes, the teachers came to my class. Okay. Yeah. We had to stay in. We had to stay in. So you know what you're dealing with here. I like things that are simple. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an engineer. I'm not claiming to be one. I just need to get the right programs that help me rank. And I think most people are like me. They didn't graduate in the top 1% of the class. That doesn't mean that you can't rank on Google. You need to get the best programs. And what I was going to say before is that you could go down a lot of rabbit holes, meaning that, for example, Google Stacks, and now you spend a month doing that, and you figure out you couldn't figure it out, and all the things that were so easy weren't so easy. And, you know, this works.
I appreciate that.
This works.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's actually one of the things I like about SEO, where Google doesn't discriminate. They don't care if you were first in your class or last in your class, as long as you give them the result. That's why, like, as long as whatever you put up there, the computer's going to check it. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, then you could go back and try again, which is one of the reasons I liked SEO so much. Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is, and this is my opinion, this is in fact, but I would assume that this program, since you're giving Google what it wants, their next update, you shouldn't be affected as much. I know when the last update came out in December, my rankings really didn't fluctuate too much.
Exactly. Well, I do everything to keep people as safe as possible.
Guys, get on Page.ai. Just on Page.ai. Just buy it. I mean, stop being so cheap. Just buy on Page.ai, man.
I appreciate. Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate you.
Listen, I sit in an apartment all day by myself. You gave me somebody to talk to. You know what I mean? You gave me some entertainment today, but it really is great. It really is a great program. You did a great job with it, E.
Thank you. I appreciate having you. Having people like going, oh, just tell me this. This is great.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So thank you very much.
I use it on. Listen, let me just end with this. I use it on 30 of my clients. Every single one of my clients are ranking. Now, listen, I want everybody to know that I believe, this is my opinion, this is in fact, that on page is 80% of SEO. Now, there's some other factors that I also use, which are traffic signals and a couple of other little secret tricks. But this is 80% of SEO, in my opinion. So I assume you're going to leave a link. I'm going to leave a link in my description below. I don't have an affiliate link, guys. I'm not making a penny from this. It's just going to be on Page. In fact, if you think that there's some kind of trick, don't click my link. Just type in on Page AI. That's it. On Page AI, and go and get it, man. And here's another thing. Let me say something else. The instructional videos are super, super simple. There's nothing worse than buying a program and now having 5 hours worth of videos to watch. You know, 25-hour videos to try to figure out. This is real simple. This is real simple. Copy the content on your website, put it in the program, and see what keywords you're missing. Add them and put them back on the website. You buy on Page AI, buy on Page AI. That's all I'm saying. Just buy it.
I'm gonna have to hire you full time, Brett.
All right, I'll take the job. Thank you.
All right,
thank you, and thank you very much for your time, E.
Thank you.
And let's do a follow up one day, like in a month or two. Let's do a follow up.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy to do a follow up. If anyone has any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer any questions. And if ever you want to do a follow up with someone who's used it or something, we could get all on the call or something. I'm open to do everything.
Okay. Next time I'll bring in one of my clients, and I'll show the results of one of my. See, the thing is, I hate doing that because you get people that not everybody's watching these shows for the same reason. You know, some people are watching it to just ruin things, and that's why I hate doing that. But I'd love to show a couple of my clients because they're all ranking. Every single one of my clients are ranking, and this is the reason why. Guy, buy on Page AI. Make me punch you in the mouth.
Thank you.
All right, Big E.
It was nice speaking to you.
It was my pleasure.
I'll talk to you soon.
We'll talk soon. Be good. Take care, guys. Bye.